Welcome to the Analyze Sports Talk, a sports podcast of real conversations of the latest sports topics from baseball to basketball, from football to hockey and everything in between, like trade gossip, waiver wire, locker room talk, and more. Now, here is Analyze Sports.
All right, we're back. It's the Analyze Sports Podcast. I'm Charron, Elliott. I got Stephen Patrick with me.
Yo.
It's November 4th, 2017. We got a couple topics today. Wishing our boy Robert Jordan the best. He's battling the stomach bug. Shout out to Dre. You're in our prayers today. We're also ready to just dabble into this NBA stuff today. We're going to talk about King James versus the Wizards. We're going to talk about Kyrie versus Russ, and then later in the show, we will talk about Louisville football and the future of Louisville football. So we're going to open it up talking about the Washington Wizards. John Wall and Bradley Beal have made some quotes here within the recent year about the Cavs and claiming that the Wizards are the best team in the East. I've got a John Wall quote that he stated recently. He said that basically the Cavs tanked last season to be in the second spot of the playoffs. Because if you all remember, I know a lot of y'all forget this, but the Celtics were the number one overall seed in the East, and the Cavs were the second seed. So Wall basically stated that Cleveland tanked to be second so they wouldn't meet up with Washington in the playoffs. Now, I don't believe that at all.
Is LeBron scared of Washington?
I don't believe that at all. So, you also had Bradley Beal, which I don't really knock Beal, but Beal said that he believed that the Wizards were the best team in the East and the team to beat right now. You got to be confident in your team, but at the same time, when you're not getting past the second round of the playoffs, which Washington hasn't even gotten to the Eastern Conference Championship game, you've got to kind of hold your horses on saying stuff like that. So with that being said, King James, he was just King James last night. Washington could not stop him at all.
57 big ones.
57. But you know the thing that impresses me is he shot 23 of 34 from the field. What type of percentage is that? It's got to be above 60%, I know. What type of percentage is that, Steve?
Let's look. We have 67.6%.
And a lot of those shots
2 for 4 from the 3 and 9 for 9 from the free throw line. And he did say that one of his goals, his remaining goals, is to shoot 80% for a season. So he's on track right now for
it. And you know, a lot of those shots for LeBron came in the paint. I mean, I saw plays where he was just bullying Kelly Oubre. And then I didn't understand why Scott Brooks would put a guard on LeBron. LeBron is 6'8", 6'9", 250. And that's being slight, you know. He might even be bigger than that.
I give it to Kelly though. He had a solid game. 21 points, 7 for 14 from the field, 5 for 7 from the 3-point line, 2 for 2 with the field goals, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, a steal. He had a solid game.
But then LeBron was just too much.
LeBron is LeBron for a reason.
I mean, I believe he had at least 18 points in the fourth quarter alone. He might have had more than that.
Yeah, especially when Washington was cutting into that lead. LeBron took over, back down to that paint, like you said. He was really more so going to the paint. They were switching off. Somehow John Wall was getting put on him, and he was just terrorizing Kelly Oubre, who is a solid player. So, you know, the King did what the King does, which is...
And then we want to go back to Beal and Wall. Beal, he showed up last night. He really did. He scored 36 points, and he
got to the line too, 13 times.
Yeah, 13 times. But
11 for 13.
But the issue for me this season for Washington has been the play of John Wall. John Wall has been very inconsistent offensively, especially with his shooting this season.
Yeah, that jump shot has to get better. I mean, he has all the tools to be. He's a star, but he has all the tools to be a superstar caliber, top tier point guard. I mean, he had 15 assists last night.
Yeah.
6 rebounds. He can rebound. He can set up. He has solid defense. But when his shot's off, it's off. 4 for 13, 31%, 5 from 12 from the free throw line. I mean, he was attacking. He was aggressive. But he's missing his free throws and missing those shots. And the last few games, his free throws has been atrocious. He's been on DeAndre Jordan level with his free throws on these last few games.
Well, yeah, these last couple games, he's really struggled. And really, his free throw percentage might be a little down from last season. This year, he's only shooting 75% from the field. And John Wall, I think, for his career, is probably a shade under 80%. So, with that being said,
you want your guard to be at 80 or above, honestly.
Yeah, you really do. You need better consistency from your point guard at the free throw line. With that being said, again, back to the King. The King is just we've got to stop taking LeBron James for granted. I know.
Question: was this more about the Wizards losing, or was this more about the Cavaliers winning?
Honestly, I just think it at some point when you have the best player literally on the planet. I mean, I know Kevin Durant is great as well, but LeBron is just still king.
Shout out to my boy Kawhi Leonard as well.
Yeah, we're still waiting on.
Had to throw that in there.
We're still waiting on Kawhi to play.
And Mr. Triple Double, Russell Westbrook. Those are my favorite players.
But we'll get into Russ a little later.
Had to throw that in there.
But LeBron is still king, and when you have somebody who can pretty much take over a game the way LeBron can and did last night, you're always going to be at an advantage. And he also got, here's what's going overlooked is that he also got some solid play from Jay Crowder, who put up 17 points and shot 4 of 7 from the field. And he also got some great play from Derrick Rose, who had 20 points, shot 50% from the floor, and made both of his free throw attempts. So he got a little help, but in the fourth quarter, he pretty much took over the game. I'm not trying to over-exaggerate that, but I mean, it literally felt like every possession, it was give the ball to LeBron and get the hell out of the way.
It was. That's exactly what it was. Because JR, I don't know what's going on with him.
Yeah,
he's starting now.
Yeah.
He had a problem with D Wade starting over him. J.R. Smith in 29 minutes, 3 points. 3 points. JR. Where is JR? Kevin Love, a solid 11 points, 8 rebounds. Love is not going to be the Minnesota type of Love, but he's still going to be a solid contributor. He's been a solid contributor this whole season. It's really been LeBron, of course, Kevin Love doing what Kevin Love does, and everybody else is just being atrocious. But this is only October, November. I don't worry about LeBron until after the All-Star break. They'll figure it out like they always do. This is the Eastern Conference.
The Eastern Conference.
So I'm not really worried about this slow start. They're four and 5. Isaiah Thomas still is in the lineup.
Yeah.
They'll figure it out. Really, with Hayward out, I really thought Boston or Washington was really the only two teams that can compete. We've seen what the Cavs can do to Toronto, and they really haven't added anybody else. It's really the same team. And then last night, if John Wall comes to play, they can give the Cavaliers everything they want. Mm-hmm. But if John Wall doesn't come to play, this is going to be Cleveland in a landslide like last year once again.
And your point about Isaiah, they are expecting Isaiah to be back in early January. So, Isaiah is one of my favorite players to watch, because he's so small out there from NBA standards. And he just gives you everything. He wears his emotions on his shoulder, and he's all heart. And he also will give LeBron another closer. Granted, Kevin Love is supposed to be playing at an all-star caliber level, but obviously he's just a solid big man. And another thing that we didn't mention about this game last night is that Cleveland didn't even have Tristan Thompson out there.
Yeah, Tristan's gone for a month.
So they still were able to pull it out with the King mainly being the reason why. So you have to gauge that as well. And the question I've been asking myself all week and basically since the season started, even with the Cavs struggling, when they get to the playoffs, who in the Eastern Conference can we remotely say convincingly will beat them 4 times when they're healthy? That's the question. People are going in on the Cavs. It's berserk, on Twitter. Everybody's just saying,
but
Cleveland won't be as good this year. I really question who can beat them 4 times.
If Wall comes to play, that's the only team that I really feel that can beat them. I mean, you look at the starting lineup, you have John Wall, Bradley Beal. If not the best backcourt, definitely top.
I like Dame.
I know I was going to say Dame and CJ, and then you got the Splash Brothers.
Yeah.
And then you might have, Wall and Bradley. You got a strong
They're in
center
top 5.
And Marcin Gortat. Otto Porter came back off of a big contract. Kelly Oubre is one of my favorite players coming off the bench. And then you got Markieff Morris.
Yeah.
He's still kind of slowly coming back from injury. He didn't really have a solid game.
The irony is that both of the Morris twins played last night for the first time this season, believe it or not.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
So, they're just slowly but surely, got to get those players worked in. So I could see, I'm going to go with Cleveland 4-2 in the Eastern Conference Finals, but I do think Washington is going to get there. And that because Hayward is out. I was going with Boston at the beginning of the season, but since the Hayward injury, I know you have a take on that.
Well, let's squad last night. They started off a little slow against OKC, but they pulled it out last night. Kyrie Irving finished the game with 25 points. He really a lot of his points came in that final period. He just took over the game offensively. Uncle Drew. I mean, I sometimes I just sit back and I think who has been the most efficient scoring point guard that we've seen in the past decade, and Kyrie has to be in that top 5 list.
The best finisher, the best point guard finisher, maybe second, maybe Russell's more.
Well,
but it's either between Kyrie and Russell. They get buckets at the rim.
The person I'll compare Kyrie to is a more efficient Allen Iverson. Because, Kyrie has the handles, and he's a better shooter than AI was. AI...
And he got that dog in him.
AI would get you buckets, but he would take a lot of shots to get those buckets. But yes, Kyrie is so efficient. And, he's not as athletic as Russ, so his finishing ability is just based on pure skill, the height in which he shoots that ball on top of the back row where nobody can block it. That's just pure skill. That's getting in the gym, working on your game, and he can finish with either hand. So I'm always impressed with Kyrie Irving on the scoring end. And then this year, I've seen Kyrie play some defense. He's playing defense this year.
He had 2 steals last night.
And he's also been trying to
plus 15
rebound
when he was on the court.
Yeah, he's plus 15. So he's been trying to rebound more, and he's playing good defense. And I'm love everything I'm seeing out of Kyrie this season. Jaylen Brown last night. This is his second year out of Cal. He put up 10 points. He struggled to shoot last night. He was only 3 of 8. And then Jason Tatum, the rookie, he had 13 points, 4 of 10 from the field, but he also put up 6 rebounds, so he was a +4. They're getting solid play out of those young guys, but the guy that is the key to the Celtics' success beyond Kyrie Irving is Al Horford. The veteran is he's one of those people that still, even though he's a veteran and been in the league, he's also been an all-star, things like that, et cetera, he's still working on his game. And he has become a legit threat from that three-point line. Last night, he was 4 of 4 from the three-point line. And that's huge. Him and Kyrie Irving are developing a chemistry with that pick and pop, and you cannot leave Horford alone. Horford is a consistent outside threat, and I just love what I'm seeing out of Al this far in the season. As for OKC last night, you're starting to see them gel. I think that Russ and Steven Adams have been pretty consistent this year. They're running pick and roll. You know, a lot of times Steven Adams will get his points off of just, putbacks or alley-oops from Russ and just wide open dunks. And Adams is always going to give you that energy as a starter when he is out there. Paul George last night, he didn't shoot the ball particularly well. He did get 25 points, but he was 9 of 20 from the field, 45%.
Melo was 3 for 17, and Russ was 7 for 20.
Yeah. So the OKC 3 really struggled last night offensively.
And Russ, can you please stop turning the ball over? 6 turnovers from Russell Westbrook last night.
Yeah.
That's one of his weaknesses.
It is.
For everything that he does, the triple doubles, the tenacity, the rebounds, the Mamba mentality that he has.
Yes.
He overcompensates sometimes and just will turn the ball over 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times. It seems like last year he had a quadruple double sometimes because he had 10 turnovers. He just always sometimes is just trying to do too much. As great of a player as he is, he just needs, especially now with Melo and Paul George being able to take some of that pressure off of him, those turnovers really should be cut way down.
Yeah, that's the thing that I thought coming into the season he would be able to chop down on. He's averaging around the same number of turnovers he was averaging last season, 5.4. So around 5 turnovers. So his assists are up 1 or 2 from last season. So he's still passing the ball. He's just got to cut down on those turnovers.
Cannot take that away from him.
He is a solid defender.
Top-tier, flat-out stud on the defensive end. But can you please do something else? Can you please hit a shot? Please, for me. Can you hit a shot for me? What does he average? 5 points a game?
Damn.
So, I mean, when that OK3 is not really playing up to snub, I feel like Robinson has to pick up some type of slack. On the defensive end, yes, he can shut down anybody's shooting guard or small forward. But on that offensive end, he is a liability. And if nobody else is, if everybody else is having a hard game, he's not gonna help in the point category at all.
Yeah, that's really a knock on his game. For his career, he's only shooting around 26% from 3, and this season he's 23%. So.
I can shoot 23% from the
Can you,
field.
Steve?
Probably about 20%.
Okay, 20%.
I'll take. Look, if NBA GMs are listening, I'll take $1 million.
$1 million, but hey, you got to play good defense because Roberson's playing good defense. Can you guard those guards in the NBA? You sure, buddy?
It takes effort on the defensive end, so I have effort to give on the defensive end. Yeah. And I can make one shot if you give me 27 minutes to do so.
27, one shot. But, it looks like Boston. Now, Boston moving forward. Let's talk about Boston in the East. I got a quote last night from a fan. He had me, K. Lightsey, what's up, fam? But he basically said that Boston is better without Hayward. I don't know about that just yet because Hayward was going to give you at least 20 a game. Tatum, he's been good. I think Tatum is around 13 a game. But the thing long term,
Brown is coming.
Yeah, Jaylen Brown is actually the second leading scorer on the team. He's averaging around 19 points a game. So Jaylen Brown he's a great second option. He's still young though, but I think Hayward with this team, they're the ceiling. You don't even know the ceiling of what they would have been. I think they actually win the East, obviously, because I put that in my preview. So, but without Hayward, You said Washington in the Eastern Conference Finals. What about Boston? Does Boston get that far without Hayward in the playoffs?
I just think they're young.
So
I think they're going to have growing pains. In the future, I think the Eastern Conference belongs to the Boston Celtics.
Most definitely.
But as far as right now, today, how everything is playing out, I'm going with Washington versus Cleveland. And in the West, my heart is telling me the San Antonio Spurs. I'm a Spurs fan, so yes, I am biased. But I just love the OK3. I'm going with Thunder versus Warriors in the Western Conference Finals. I really want to say the Thunder over the Warriors, but I know better. But if anybody can do it, Russell got that Mamba mentality, and he wants to kill KD for leaving and everything. And he hates the Warriors, Steph, everything about the Warriors. I want to go Thunder over Warriors, but we all know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Warriors versus Cavaliers.
Who has the two best players in the West?
Who has the two best players in the West?
I think that, obviously that Westbrook won the MVP, but if the Thunder and the Warriors met up, who would have the two best players on the court?
You know what? That's a great question. Of course, KD is the best player is going to be on the court. But that second one is hard between Steph and Russ.
So but I say
and you want to know one thing? Just to throw this out there. I think Draymond Green is overrated. Very overrated.
Really?
Yes.
That's a hot take, Steve.
Yes.
That's a hot take, Steve.
No disrespect.
Whoa, let me pull up those numbers for Draymond, because you just caught me completely off guard with that one.
I think Draymond Green is so overrated.
Whoa. What?
I was just looking at preseason rankings.
Okay.
Some had him in the top 10, top 15.
Really?
And I was just thinking, I could name 10 players that are better than Draymond. Now, in that system, he excels in that system. But I just feel you put him on another team,
Really?
What would he be doing? That's just me. I could think Steph, Clay, KD, Anthony Davis, Kawhi Leonard, LeBron James, Russell Westbrook, Damian Lillard, DeMarcus Cousins, Karl Anthony Towns. That's just 10 off the top of my head.
I don't know about him being a top 10 player in the NBA. I don't think he is, but I will tell you this, Steve. On that team, minus Durant or Steph, he's the one player.
He's the engine of that team.
He is the one player they cannot afford to lose.
He's the engine of that team. I'll give you that. Just looking at his skills by itself, separating from that system.
Yeah, he's giving you what, 10 points a game, nearly 8 rebounds and 7 assists.
Now that's solid, but he is almost a walking triple double.
Yeah, he's a walking triple double basically.
To me, he just excels in that system. If you put him, if he was a singular star on another team, could he lead that team to the success that?
Oh, okay. So that's where you're going with that.
I don't see Draymond leading that team, if he was the star of a team, to any type of success. That's just me.
Okay, that's where you're going with that. That is debatable, and I'll tell you why. When you're playing with three of the last, 3 MVPs? So Steph Curry twice, and then KD.
Yeah.
Your value for if you're on another team is questionable. And then also Klay Thompson, one of the best shooters in the game. In history, actually. So we tend to kind of question, okay, what if Draymond was on another team? But I'll tell you this, his numbers would probably go up more because he would be more of an emphasis on offense.
His numbers may go up, but will his impact on a team translate into success? To me, they would not. He would have better numbers. To me, he would be Kevin Love in Minnesota. Great numbers, but no team success.
Well,
not as far as 25 points, 15 rebounds, but just putting up great numbers.
Okay, great numbers.
But not having no team success.
Because I think you're going in another route when you bring up Kevin Love. I mean, I know you're saying just numbers alone.
Yeah, I'm just talking about just strictly numbers, not the skill set.
Yeah, their skill
not
sets
the
are totally different.
I'm talking about just strictly numbers. I could see Draymond putting up 20 and 10 and getting bounced in the first round.
And like I say,
not even making the playoffs.
I say my counter argument to that is just, I feel like heck, even I think Draymond's skill set is even held back some because he has to play third, fourth fiddle to Durant, Clay, and Steph. So we don't really know what he's capable of offensively as far as can he be a consistent scorer and put up better numbers offensively. Because I know the defense is there. Defense is there. He just has that in him. Rebounds there. He just has that dog in him. So offensively, that would be the question of, like, could Draymond lead a team,
That's
probably not in the top. Definitely, probably not in the West with the cards being stacked against him, and he'll probably still be
in the East he could be making plays.
Now the East,
definitely.
I do think he could probably take a team to the playoffs
and get bounced in the first round. Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
He'll probably meet up with LeBron James or somebody like that. But another thing I would like to talk about, just slide in for the NBA, is the rookies. We could talk about these rookies. Now, my guy Mark Gunnels. Mark Gunnels is a great guy. You guys need to follow him. I think he's with Fox Sports now. Mark Gunnels, you are the man. He said Ben Simmons is the best rookie since LeBron James. Now, I pulled up this list. All right?
Now,
so
that's been, 15 years?
Yeah, 2003, 2004 season. Now, here's the names within that list that I know off the top of my head. And I tweeted this out. But just off the top of my head alone. Kevin Durant, Blake Griffin, Kyrie Irving, Karl Anthony Towns, Andrew Wiggins, Damian Lillard, Brandon Roy. Now Brandon Roy, we will say overall his NBA career was not as good.
But that's because of injury. Brandon Roy and Danny Granger were about to be the next those type of caliber players that we would have been talking about if it wasn't in for injury.
I think Mark went on to say that he was talking the best overall, because I know for a fact, Dame put up better numbers scoring. Kyrie probably put up better numbers scoring.
Yeah, but Ben is more of an overall.
Yeah, now overall,
he's a walking triple-double himself.
We're talking overall, besides Karl Anthony Towns and Blake Griffin, who are wings and will probably give you rebounding and scoring. I think my guy Mark Gunnels has a hell of a point. And Ben Simmons last night he already got his second triple-double of his young career. On the flip side, Steve, how do you feel about Lonzo Ball so far?
I mean, if you take away that Phoenix Suns game,
just
he's averaging around, I think it's about 6 points, 6 assists, 6 rebounds.
I'll pull up his stats.
He needs to be more aggressive. I mean, that jump shot, I was listening to Charles Barkley the other day, how they basically just take away.
Shout out to Chuck.
I believe I forgot if it was his right side or his left side, but they kind of take away one of the sides that he can't really do anything because he brings his shot from his hip and brings it up. So he got a long shot that you can really get to quickly. I mean, is he going to be that transcendent player that the hype was talking about? No.
Ooh.
He's going to be a strong...
You writing him off for early?
No, he's not he's not a bust or anything, but...
No, I'm saying you're writing him off. I'm not saying you're saying he's going to be a bust, Steve. I'm saying you're writing him off to not be that culture-changing
I see
player.
13 to 15 points, 8 to 11 assists, 6 to 7 rebounds, which is not bad.
Yeah,
Leading a
that's
team,
still
Jason Kidd type of numbers.
Well, and you know what? That has been my comparison for
yeah,
Lonzo.
that Magic Johnson comparison.
Magic was out of the question.
Stop.
But
LeBron.
don't even mention that.
What?
I said don't even mention.
Oh.
I'm saying don't even mention LeBron and Lonzo in the same sentence.
Oh no, I was
That's
talking about
disrespectful.
LeBron and Magic.
Okay.
Those type of, I can see tall, sturdy, great passers. Yeah. Lonzo and Magic don't even have a similar body build to really be compared to each other.
He is a big guard though. He's 6'7".
And Jason Kidd also came into the league with no jump shot, with no really offense, but he was aggressive. He got to the line multiple times. That's what Lonzo is lacking. And that if I could put LeVar inside of Lonzo, I think I might have the best player in the NBA.
That is a great.
Because LeVar got that dog in him, and
yeah.
He only averaged 2-3 points in college, and he thinks he's the greatest player in the world. The greatest. So you get that attitude into Lonzo. I think that laid back coolness of Lonzo is just not going to sit well when you need somebody to get into the face of, as a leader, to get into the face of the other players and rile them up on a high level when things aren't going well.
But to first of all, my comparison for Lonzo, if you follow me on Twitter, you know I've said this a few times. He is a more athletic version of Jason Kidd. Jason.
Lonzo's a more athletic version?
More athletic. He's a more athletic version. More athletic version. I've seen Lonzo UCLA dunk on people, dude. I'm talking about verticality. When he wants to, he can just yam on you. So I say more athletic version of Jason Kidd. Basically, that's the best comparison for him. And Jason Kidd, he eventually got a jump shot. Literally is top 10 overall in 3-point field goals made in NBA history. Yes. So it's never too late to work on that outside shot.
No, never. No, and I always get better.
And honestly, people that are writing off Lonzo early to be a star in the league, you got to kind of hold your horses because even there's been several players that have come out slow as rookies that have turned into great NBA players. Now, I don't think, Kobe coming in, I'm not saying he'll be Kobe. I'm not going on that record. But I'm saying Kobe coming in, even though he didn't have as much hype, he didn't really get any time, and he came off the bench. It took Kobe a while to be great.
I'll give you that.
And it took Garnett a while to be great. It took a lot of great players to be like. So
that's why I said, I'm not saying he's going to be a bust anything. Yeah. But just going off of these games.
Yeah, these games.
I'm just
And granted, the kid is only 20 years old. I say kid, I'm 24, but that shows you how old I think I'm getting. But, those were my 2 Rookie of the Year picks coming in, Lonzo and Ben Simmons. So I think they're doing.
I have Ben Simmons.
Yeah, I think Ben has definitely impressed. And Philly, looking forward, watch out. Moving forward, watch out.
Let me be a homer. Shout out to Donovan Mitchell. He's doing his thing.
Yeah, Donovan's doing it
as a U of L alumni.
And he should be starting eventually. He should be on that starting line in Louisville, Kentucky.
Is it even a team right now? It's like Lamar and company.
Well, the thing is, here's what I look at from my perspective. Last year they were a little bit more talented. I wouldn't say a lot more talented because they still finished 8-4 over. Was it 8? I think they got 9 wins and then lost in the bowl game. So overall you count that 9 as 4. They got demolished in that bowl game to LSU, by the way. But
lost to Clemson, lost to Houston, got
destroyed
Kentucky,
by Houston,
and then lost to LSU.
Yeah, so this year, Louisville, that defense obviously is atrocious.
Terrible.
And the thing that me and Steve have been talking about for weeks with Rob, we wish Rob was here to discuss this with us. So get better, Rob. But the thing we've been talking about is with everything that's going on in U of L athletics, why not get a fresh and with the football team struggling right now because of a change that was made in defensive coordinator, we're wondering, okay, how long is your leash on Bobby Petrino? Because even though Petrino has had, solid seasons, I wouldn't call them great. we've had solid seasons. We haven't had any great seasons.
We got to the BCS.
Yeah, I'm talking about. Wake Forest. I'm not talking about first stint. I'm talking about second stint.
Yeah, second stint is.
The second stint.
Don't get me started.
Has just been solid. It hasn't been good, and it should be better. That's what I think. It should be better. It hasn't been better. I feel like we've actually gotten worse.
Yes, I do too. Yes, most definitely.
So, the question that me and Steve are asking is it time for Louisville to move on permanently from Petrino?
Charlie, we miss you.
Steve is a Charlie Strong guy. He wants Charlie Strong to come back.
Yes.
Yesterday.
Yes.
And
I wish he didn't leave to go to Texas in the first place.
Definitely. But we don't knock Charlie.
You gotta go. I never knocked
Charlie for leaving Louisville for Texas.
You gotta go for the level.
But there are names out there, and Rob disagreed with us and said that there's no way they would come to Louisville. But there are two names out there that, if I'm Louisville, I would look into.
They're not coaching right now.
And they're not coaching right now. Chip Kelly, what he did at Oregon with Mariota. If he comes to Louisville, would Lamar stay another year to play with Chip Kelly?
In that offense? Lord have mercy.
Jeez. And then Les Miles. Granted, I think the only thing holding Les Miles back was Nick Saban. You know what I'm saying? Les Miles had LSU competing every year. But you're playing Nick Saban, who's basically like the godfather of NCAA football. Yes. So, those are two names that jump out there with me for the U of L job in the future. I'm not saying U of L should fire Petrino after this season.
SK Patrick is saying they should fire him at the end of the season. Look at Petrino, both stints, 5-14 overall versus ranked teams. Man. 0-7 versus ranked teams on the road.
That's not good.
Not good at all. Charlie left you on the cusp of an elite college football program, a BCS caliber team that beat Florida when Florida had NFL talent
and Miami.
I don't see how you go from a BCS caliber elite NFL talented team roster to a 5-4 team now. And you have the Heisman Trophy winner. Now, Rob was talking about maybe we need, new defensive coordinators and things. I feel like it starts at the top. This is a recurring theme. Bobby cannot win the biggest of the biggest games.
Absolutely.
Now, you can't win them all. Granted, I give him that. 5-14, both stints versus ranked teams, and 0-7 versus ranked teams on the road.
And my plea with that is actually a lot of those games that Louisville are in with those big teams come down to like one or two plays and adjustments in those games. So that is like,
are you Houston got smacked. Houston, LSU got smacked.
Yeah.
I'll give you that though, because we lose close games to Clemson. NC State smacked us too this year.
Yeah.
But last year, Burley lost to Clemson, put a beat down on Florida State. But it's just
and LSU
destroyed. With Bobby, even in Arkansas, he got them to a high standard.
We gotta hold Bobby accountable for pushing out Ty Grantham. A lot of people didn't really like Ty Grantham, but I bet you 99.9% of Louisville fans would probably take Ty Grantham back yesterday if they could. And you got Peter Sermon, who statistically I think was even a worse defensive coordinator than Grantham last season with Mississippi State. So, and you've got to be accountable for that.
Yes.
I know he was probably pushed out. Grantham was probably pushed out. So you got to hold him accountable for that. Moving forward,
Charlie, I will pay your salary. Please come back.
Steve wants Charlie back. Now, moving forward for U of L, my prediction for this season. Now, granted, you cannot predict Jair Alexander getting hurt.
Yeah, that is definitely a key injury on the
majority of the
side.
season.
If he was here, would Louisville be 5-4?
Yeah.
No.
No.
Because at the beginning of the season, I predicted a 9-3 season.
And we were on the same page with that.
I think with Jair, we probably would have won 1 or 2 more games, which would leave us with a record of what, 7-2.
Yeah.
But
now,
can't see that one of our best defensive players is going to get hurt.
Now he's got hurt, but even with that, Louisville to me was talented enough not to get beat by Boston College and not to get basically embarrassed by Wake Forest. Wake Forest was just, looked like Oregon.
But did you see Wake Forest last year against us in the first half?
Yeah.
Gave us a game.
Yeah,
Second half, we pulled away. But in the first half, even of last year, they gave us a tough go at it.
Well, technically, the theory is that we had their playbook, so that's what happened. So the playbook, Louisville had their playbook, so that's why they just destroyed them in the second half. But for Louisville moving forward, they started off the season with a preview. I had them 9-3, so if now they're just pushing to get to a bowl game here in these last 3 games, and mind you, they play in Virginia, Syracuse, who beat Clemson, even though they lost Kelly Bryant in that game. It's still Clemson. And they have Kentucky, who beat Louisville last year at Louisville, and now they'll be in Lexington this year. So, Steven, where do they get that 6th win at?
Hopefully, it's against arch rival Kentucky.
Okay.
But let's just look at the. We still have Syracuse, which beat Clemson,
and Virginia,
who's having, and they have given us troubles in the past, and then it's Kentucky. Could we run the table? Honestly, I think we're going to win against Syracuse, win against Virginia, and lose against Kentucky. So I'm seeing what would that be, a 7
Yeah, that would be 7-5.
7-5.
So there'll be 2 games below where we had them.
Yeah, I had them at 9-3 coming into the season. They'll be 7-5. Still going to a bowl game.
They'll probably go into the Wendy's Junior Bacon Cheeseburger Bowl.
the 4 for 4 bowl.
The 4 for 4 or McDonald's
Can
Big
I get
Mac
barbecue
bowl.
sauce with those nuggets? Wendy's has great nuggets.
Shout out to Wendy's.
Please.
Can you please sponsor us?
Yes. Please. Analyze Sports sponsored by Wendy's.
Sponsored by Wendy's.
Get your 4 for 4 today.
So, Steve, you're saying they beat both Virginia and Syracuse. They playing both of those teams at home.
At home.
So that's advantage Louisville. I think honestly, man, I think that Louisville will lose to Virginia this up and coming weekend. And I think they'll beat Syracuse. And then I think they'll lose to Kentucky. So that will put them at what, 6-6?
So you got them at 6-6. I have them at 7-5.
Okay. So either way, it's been a letdown so far this season. And the horrible thing about all this is Lamar Jackson is still putting up great numbers.
Heisman Trophy caliber numbers. Maybe even better numbers than he did last year.
Yeah, I think, at least for me, from the eye test, he's gotten better in the pocket.
Yes, he has.
Gotten significantly better in the pocket. But it's just the team has been too inconsistent. Like you said, the defense is not been good. And then you got receivers who are dropping catchable footballs. So that's our show for this week. We're hoping that we'll have Rob with us next time, and maybe even Dre. But Dre, you're in our prayers. Dre is going through something. He's got a family emergency he's dealt with this week, so he's in our prayers. And Rob, we hope you get better soon. Until next time, this is Analyze Sports. Charron, Elliott,
Stephen Patrick,
and we're out of here.
Welcome to the Analyze Sports Talk, a sports podcast of real conversations of the latest sports topics from baseball to basketball, from football to hockey, and